Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us to the 24th of September, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and NHC Ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us into October, well into October. I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released the detailed European outlook for next week's 10 days as well. So please check out all of today's videos and content. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. For GavsWeatherVids. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. Right, okay, going to start off in the tropical Atlantic. Got 3 interest areas. So we've got a red X just here, and we've got 2 hurricanes, Margot and Lee. Let's deal with the red X first of all. That is Disturbance 1. Has a 90% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and a 90% chance in the next 7 days. That's going to pop imminently, I think. It's AL97. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad low-pressure area located around 1,000 miles west-southwest of Cape Verde Islands have increased and become a little better organised since yesterday. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for additional development, and this system is likely to become a tropical depression during the day or so while it moves west-northwestward. At 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's going to pop. That one's going to become our next named tropical storm and or hurricane. We've also got Category 1 Hurricane Margot, giving maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure 979 millibars. And that's just going to be meandering around over the next few days, go nowhere fast, will eventually go post-tropical by the time we get to early next week. And they've got Hurricane Lee. Again, this is a Category 1 hurricane now. I think giving maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. That might be Category 1 or Category 2, not sure. But anyway, it's weakening rapidly. So if it's not yet Category 1, it will be by the end of today, with maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour going down to 80, etc. in 17. So that one is dying a death, but it is pushing northwards. If we click on Lee, and we want to go there, we can see that this is going to be making landfall somewhere close to the far northeastern coast of America as a post-tropical storm. Will then move over Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, that sort of area, and out into the northern Atlantic Ocean as a post-tropical storm through the early part of next week. That's going to invigorate the jet stream, and we will actually have impacts from Lee, I think, as that peps up the jet stream. We will find the weather turning increasingly wet and windy through next week, probably more about that in a moment. Once Lee and Margot are done with early next week, then all eyes will be on our next disturbance area, probably our next storm and or hurricane, which is going to be that red X just there. We shall keep you updated. Right, centering temperature, the CT is currently sitting at 19.6. which is 6 degrees above the 61 to 1990 average. That is provisional to yesterday, to the 13th of September. So we've now gone sub 20. That is still exceptionally high, of course. It will carry on ticking down over the next few days. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Next couple of weeks with London today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London, starting off around to a little bit above average at the moment. We'll find the upper air temperature becoming warmer actually into the weekend. So it will turn quite warm over the weekend. Not as hot as it was last weekend though, I don't think. Probably sort of mid, maybe just about upper 20s Celsius temperature, but I don't think we'll be in 30 Celsius over the weekend. Next week, I mean, we're hovering close to a little bit above average, really, through the second half of September. So, still a bit warmer than normal, and that means that the drop in the CT is going to be a slow one. But I think we will continue to drop, albeit on quite a slow basis. There's not really much sign here of like a collapse, a CT collapse, and it's still possible we might come away with a record-breaking hot September, actually. But I think overall the central temperature will continue to reduce somewhat over the next week or two. Precipitation-wise, a bit dry weather for the next couple of days, but over the weekend and into next week, looking more unsettled. This could well be thundery stuff on Sunday into Monday, and then after that, it looks like we're opening the door to the Atlantic with some wind and some rain on the way. Temperature anomalies from the 14th, 22nd of September, a little bit cooler than average for Ireland and Scotland, slightly above average for England and Wales. You can see what I'm talking about with the slow decline in the central temperature, because it's going to be above average, but not anywhere near as above average as it was. We should still start to see CT reducing, but it's going to be quite a slow do, I think, quite a slow process. Precipitation anomalies from the 14th, 22nd of September, wetter than average for Ireland and Western Scotland, drier than average for central and eastern parts of England. The latest Windflow Map from earthnullschool.net shows that we've got low pressure to the north of Scotland today. There's more low pressure in the Atlantic, and of course that is Hurricane Margot, just there to the west of the Azores. Right, let's start going through chart data then. Let's have the latest UK Met Euro rate. It's looking a big night on Sunday with low pressure off the coast of Portugal, starting to pull up some pretty quite warm air from the south and from the southeast. But as the low pressure pushes northwards, that could well be the trigger for heavy showers, possibly thunderstorms, through the course of Sunday and into Monday. That's going to a flat westerly flow with low pressure to our north. That's being wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic Ocean. The jet stream very much being invigorated there by Hurricane Lee, or the remains of Hurricane Lee being absorbed into these areas of low pressure. So just into like a westerly showers, longer spells of rain, and relatively cool air coming in from off the North Atlantic with those westerly winds as well. Icon, again, showing that we've got low pressure off the coast of Portugal midnight on Sunday. That pushes northwards through the course of Sunday, possibly bring heavy downpours and thunderstorms with it. Then we go into a flat westerly flow from the middle part of next week, bringing wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic with pretty tight packed isobars. There'll be showers and longer spells of rain. Will be quite windy too. And while the wind is coming from like the northern source of the Atlantic, so it's more of a polar maritime but tropical airstream, which means it will be turning turning a little bit cooler through next week as well. This is the GFS midnight run. Once more, we've got low pressure off the coast of Portugal. We're pulling up those southerly southeasterly winds from Saturday to Sunday. Will be quite warm, but then Sunday to Monday, up comes that thundery low, and then that gets absorbed by low pressure in the Atlantic. That means wet and windy weather sweeping in from off the Atlantic through the middle part of next week. A ridge building at the end of next week will settle things down. This is a much cooler ridge, so this will probably bring some quite cold nights at the end of next week. That's really what we need to do to bring the CT down, get a string of cold nights. That ridge could do that for a couple of nights. However, we start pulling southerly winds back in again by day 10, so it starts to turn a little bit warmer once more. Not for long. Low pressure then back in from off the Atlantic, bringing further spells of rain with it as well. Some higher pressure to our south and southeast, could keep southeast mostly dry and quite warm. And then the GFS 6Z, all much of a muchness really for Sunday into Monday, with that thundery low drifting up from the south and sort of merging, being absorbed with this area of low pressure just here. Then we go into wet and windy weather through the middle and second half of next week, with outbreaks of rain likely. A ridge starts trying to build down from the north with the GFS 6Z. So again, that's quite a cold ridge, and that will bring some pretty chilly nights. It doesn't last very long though. By day 10 and beyond, we turn increasingly wet and windy. You've got the remains of another one. I think that's the red X I was just talking about at the start of the video. So that by then has become a post-tropical type feature, an area of low pressure And that just keeps the wet and windy weather going into the second half of, or to the end of September. Proper dartboard low there over country by the 27th of September. Looking very cool and autumnal. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so much, everybody, for doing that for us. We need to put on around 55 subscribers, something like that, to get ourselves to 16.9k. So if you could give us a sub to your friends and family to subscribe, it'll be amazing and incredible. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. GM, again, with a ridge building in from the west on Sunday. Then we get this funky low moving up from the south, sunny to Monday. Gets absorbed into an area of low pressure. But Tuesday, turning wet and windy through the early part of next week, and cooler too, with these areas of low pressure bringing outbreaks of rain and lower temperatures as well. All wet today, 10 looks very unsettled with the GM. That actually turns quite stormy there around day 10, 24th of September. As regards whether it's autumn forecast coming back on track here after a big old wobble right at the outset. I wonder. It'll be exciting to see how things pan out as we go on through the autumn, isn't it? And then the ECM looks like that. And once more, we've got high pressure reaching in for Sunday, but low pressure down towards the Bay of Biscay will pull the wind into southerly southeasterly, and then that will bring a funky trough up from the south from Sunday to Monday, which gets absorbed into an area of low pressure in the Atlantic, and then we're often running into wet and windy weather through the rest of next week. Quite cool as well, with those winds coming in from the northern Atlantic. That's the day 10 chart, with the ECM gets us to the 24th of September. Low pressure just to our south and southwest, threatening more rain, and you will notice on the far right hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it, there is the remains of yet another tropical storm and or hurricane. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So yeah, further spells of rain to come through today, particularly northern and western region. That goes on into Friday as well. Turns drier for a while over the early part of the weekend, and then upcoming heavy showers and thunderstorms through the second half of the weekend into the beginning of next week. Then we're into Atlantic driven stuff with wet and windy weather sweeping in from the Atlantic, bands of rain pushing through with showers in between those bands of rain, looking very westerly and unsettled. That's day 10. Another deluge on the way for more southern parts of the country by 24th of September. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensemble today for day 10. Gets us 24th of September. 23 members of the ECM Ensembles with lots of low pressure to the north and west, looking very unsettled with that. 18 with low pressure again over the country and out in that also looks unsettled, and 10 with low pressure just to our west. All the options look unsettled there at day 10. In 2 weeks time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us 29th of September. 15 members of the ECM Ensembles keep bringing low pressure in from off Atlantic with further spells of rain to come. 13 with low pressure just to our north. Some higher pressure down towards France again. That looks very unsettled. Another 13 with low pressure just out to our west. Could be a little bit drier though down in the south with that ridge. And 10 actually building some high pressure through the UK. That's the most settled option. That could be quite a cool ridge though, I think. So as we get towards the end of September, we might start to turn back something a little bit drier, but not necessarily overly warm. It will depend on the exact origins of that ridge. I think the ridge could well be building from the north there. So it could be a cooler ridge, certainly compared to earlier in September. CFS V2 increase to 500 millibar height and noise bring down to week periods. The first week period takes from 14th, 20th of September. This next week will have low pressure over and to the north of the country, so looks very unsettled. Week 2 will be the 21st to 27th of September. Lots of low pressure in the Atlantic and into northern Europe as well. In wet and windy. Week 3 will be the 28th of September to 4th of October. Low pressure again in the ascendancy in the Atlantic. And then week 4 will start to build up some sort of ridge from the south, turning things a little bit drier as we get into the week 4 period. Might be warmer, but again, the exact origins of the air mass will be important with that could be quite cool at night, I suppose, but by day, perhaps still relatively warm. We shall see, but the rest of September is looking unsettled anyway. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, share, subscribe, and show everybody to do that. And why not drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, and don't forget to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. So that's it for today's bids. Tomorrow, we're going to have a 6 AM UK weather forecast once again. JMA Friday, a 10 to 14 down. I have got to get the evaluation for the summer forecast done as well, so I'm going to try and get that released tomorrow, because I am late getting that. So it might even appear tonight. I'll see how quickly I can get it done, but I do want to get that done, out of the way, ticked off, and then, can move on 100% from summer. So that will be within the next day or so anyway. Right, you enjoy the rest of your... So there might be... That might come up later on, might be tomorrow. But I think this is probably going to be the last video of the day. But just watch the channel, watch this space, and we'll see. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.